Hello! You might have seen recently that I rearranged my room, and in doing so I moved my physical TBR, and now I have 3 full shelves in which to display the books I've read. And so this is going to be a reorganising my bookshelf video. I, up until this point, have had my books in author, surname, alphabetical order, and now I want to change it. I want to display the books I love. I want to have things that I love right front and centre so that not only I can see them, but you can see them in videos. I have bought these little book stands. This is hard to see. So that I can put books face out without them falling over. I think I'm gonna group them roughly by genre. I don't think I have enough of like one particular genre to fill like a whole shelf with just that genre. I want to have like a fantasy shelf and a romance shelf and a thriller shelf and that kind of thing. But the other part is basically from here down is hidden by my chair when my chair is in front of it. But I can't leave those shelves empty because otherwise the bookcases are really unstable and they fall over. So what I'm actually going to start with doing is pulling out all the books that I don't mind being on those bottom shelves, that I don't love and need to have displayed. So I'm going to start by doing that. I have a selection of books that I'm happy not to show. What I want to do now is create a Sarah J Maas shelf, and I think it's going to be this one. She's the author I've read from the most, so she has the most books. I enjoyed a lot of them and I want to keep them together. So I think I'm going to repurpose this shelf into a Sarah J Maas shelf. Okay, I think to go with the theme of Sarah J Maas, I have to continue up with fantasy. So I'm going to get some of my favourite fantasy books here, I think. I just want to like have them all out and showing, but I don't think there's going to be room, so fantasy books here, I think. With that for now. I might change it, and there's actually books missing because I'm missing Daughter of No Worlds, the final book of this, and I'm Flaming Onyx Storm are going to be added to that, so there will have to be some kind of a rearrange when I've read those books or when I get them, and there's 2 missing from this series as well, so maybe I should move this one to a different shelf so everything has more room to breathe. Maybe I'll do that. If we're continuing in fantasy, I'm going to put more fantasy here. Probably books from these authors that I also like, and maybe adding in some of my like favourite YA fantasy into this shelf I think would be a good idea. So let's do that. YA fantasy while still having some turnouts and some stacks. So YA fantasy is going to have to go up here. That's the only answer. And any other fantasy is just going to have to go up there. I'm upset that this doesn't have like room to grow. So like I have the next book in this series, but there isn't room for it. And I have the next book of Fourth Wing, but there isn't room for it. So I'm like, do I make a Carissa Broadbent shelf? But she only has what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books out. And I don't think that's enough for a whole shelf. But do I make the top shelf a Carissa Broadbent shelf? I'm going with no. I'm going with no for now. We're going to stick with this, whatever's happening here. So, final dregs of fantasy on the top shelf, that's the plan. Full. I don't know what I'm going to do when I have more books, but that is fine. I'm happy with that. So now I want to do this shelf because it's kind of half shelves, right? Because they're blocked by this shelf. So there's only half a shelf. I have random things in the back half of the shelf, like notebooks and boxes and whatever. So this is kind of only half a shelf. So I think I'm going to do some of the genres that I've read less of. So I think like horror, sci-fi, maybe sci-fi, horror, and thrillers, because I think that's what I've got less of. Let's go with that. Sci-fi, horror, and thrillers. What do I do with sci-fi horror? I think it has to go in sci-fi. I'm going with sci-fi. Okay, so what this is telling me is I need to read more horror, thriller, and mysteries. That's what this is telling me. But I'm just going to keep going. I think I'm going to do this top shelf as books that don't have a place to go. So it will be lots of genres: non-fiction, translated, historical, classics. I want to put Song of Achilles up there, Delegate Dream Department Store, Yellowface, that kind of thing. The stuff that doesn't really fit in any of the other genres I have in mind. Because basically the last thing I want to do on these two shelves is romance. So everything else is going to go on that shelf up there. Okay, so these 3 shelves are going to be romance. This shelf I have to half keep clear because it's like my only table beside the chair. It's the only place where I can like put a drink or attach my Kindle holder or whatever. Like if I have a snack, it's the only place I can put that. So this shelf needs to be kept kind of half clear. But I'm going to do these 3 shelves as romance. That's the plan. These bottom shelves, I'm just going to try and do the same genres that I have above, but it's going to be pretty not aesthetic. I'm just going to put them in because you can't really see them anyway. So I'm just going to go, so like this one will be romance and miscellaneous, sci-fi, horror, thriller, mystery, fantasy, and we'll go with that for now. It's done. It's done for now. As I keep reading, it's gonna keep changing. I'm concerned about this shelf because there just isn't much room, and I think I'm gonna have to be more harsh about what I put at the bottom of the shelves as the year goes on. But for now, it's all done. It's all done. I'm gonna give you a quick tour and then we'll wrap up. Okay, I'm gonna go shelf by shelf, but I'm not gonna go book by book. Up here is my YA fantasy and just some other fantasies. Like, there are ones that I want to make more prominent, like the Lizette Marshall ones and the Apprentice Assistant to the Villain ones, but for now, they're up there. This shelf is some of my like second favorite books. So we have like Erin Morgenstern, Tessonja, Odette, TJ Klune, some of my less loved Carissa Broadbent and Godkiller, which I absolutely loved. And then this is like my favourites shelf. So we've got Fourth Wing, Under the Whispering Door, Lisa Cassidy, Carissa Broadbent, The House Witch and Legends of the Martes. And then here we have my Sarah J Maas shelf. I'm actually getting these, I got gifted like a recover of them for my birthday, which is why the Assassin's Blade is missing. And then these bottom 2 shelves are just more fantasy. They're fantasy that I have read but I didn't love, or the binding I have 2 copies of, so I didn't need them both on the upper shelves. But that is my kind of excess fantasy. And then up here we have mysteries, some kind of cozier mysteries, and then some less cozy mysteries. Here is like definitely thrillers that I've enjoyed. This is my little horror shelf, so we have a little horror pile and then the bigger horror books over there next to the book nook. This is my sci-fi shelf. I'm definitely going to need more room for sci-fi, so I need to think about that. And then at the bottom I did mystery and thriller on the top shelf, and then sci-fi and horror on the bottom shelf. And the final bookcase up the top is my miscellaneous stuff. So we have non-fiction, translated, historical fiction, and classic. Then we have graphic novels and manga, and then children's books and just like literary fiction. And then here we start with the romance. This is kind of my, I don't want to say slightly lower rated, but okay, mainly it's people I have less books from, so I only have 1 or 2 of their books. And then over here we have my Bedazzled Pumpkin Spice Cafe, and then more kind of standalone niche books, so like gothic romance, like this is like Halloween-y type books. I'm Loving the Time of Serial Killers. And then on here we have Lucy Score, Elsie Silver, Ali Hazelwood, Emily Henry. And then the shelf below just has Lily Gold and this little cloud thing, and then bookmarks and mugs and my Kindle holder. And then this top row is romance books that I didn't want up there. And then the bottom row is the same as the miscellaneous shelf, so it's literary fiction, translated, non-fiction, classics, that kind of thing. And that is every shelf that is currently in my room and everything that is on them. So that's it. That's the whole video. We rearranged all my bookshelves. It's nice being able to have like face outs again, and it's nice being able to have like my little Lego things and my little book nooks and all that stuff out again, because the shelves just got so full that there wasn't any room for those things. So this is a nice change for me and I'm very happy about it. So I hope you enjoyed watching me do this. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next video.